Good evening, this is Mr. Wintermelon. In this few bonus video, we will be going through what happened during mitosis and meiosis, our cell division. For simplistic purposes, I will be using this circular magnet to represent our genetic material. Why? Because magnets. So they are going to represent our genetic material, specifically our chromatin, chromatid, as well as chromosome. Most of you should be familiar or have heard of chromosome. But what are chromatin as well as chromatids? And of course, what exactly is chromosome? We will be going through it. First of all, chromatin. This is your DNA molecules. It is a string of polynucleotides. You can swing it around. No, you can't swing it around. And most of the time, your DNA is spanned in the form of chromatin, not chromosome. We are more familiar with chromosome because it's something that we can see. Chromatin are very thin. They are just these polynucleotides that are attached onto some protein. That's about it. So some part will be more coiled up than the others. And during cell division, more protein will be attached to the DNA, so they are super condensed and we can see them under a light microscope. But most of the time, they will be spanned in this chromatin stage with some protein attached onto them. Why are some parts more coiled up than the other? You can Google for the answer. So this is chromatin. Most of the time, your DNA is in this stage. Now, before we move on, I will just use circular magnet for representation. So you can just imagine that this is the bird's eye view. Alright? Now, for your genetic material, you actually have one part from your father and the other half it comes from your mother. Maybe we will just use these two to represent, okay? One set from your father and one set from your mother. This is your chromatin. So this simple organism have 4 chromatin. Just before DNA or cell division takes place, the DNA will do something known as replication. What is replication? That means make an identical copy of itself. All the chromatin will go and do that. So now you have 2 chromatin. But, aha, they have a change of name. Now they are not called chromatin anymore. So one of it, or the pair of them, will be called sister chromatids. T-I-D-S, not T-I-T-S. But of course, since chromatids or sister chromatids comes in pairs, it is sort of an easy way of remembering sister chromatids instead of sister chromatin, because tits comes in pairs as well. So just before cell division takes place, your DNA will replicate, which is make an identical copy of itself, and this pair is known as sister chromatids, or a pair of sister chromatids. And this pair of sister chromatid, which are identical, is known as one chromosome, which is the chromosome that you see under the microscope. So this one is from the father, and you have the pair of sister chromatids that is from your mother. And together, this pair of chromosome is your homologous chromosome. In case you are confused, chromatin, it will duplicate itself into a pair of sister chromatids. A pair of sister chromatids is also known as a chromosome. And this is your chromosome from your father, and together with the chromosome from your mother, they form your homologous chromosome. Sister chromatids, they are identical. Homologous chromosome, they are not identical. Even though they may have the same gene, but they are in different form or different form of alleles. For example, your gene for your blood group are in the same chromosome, but one can be O blood group, the other one can be A blood group. Same gene but different form, different alleles is what define your homologous chromosome. But sister chromatids, identical. Alright, so this is for the terminology. The next video will be on mitosis.